I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey, AfterBuzzers, welcome back. We have finally made it to the season finale of the Eddy. We are talking about episode 8, which is actually titled The Eddy, and everything is coming full circle. I'm Tori, but I could not be on this panel without my beautiful panelists. I have our Damien Chazelle #1 fan here, Allie James. How are you today?
Hello, I'm doing great. I loved the ending of this show, so I'm super excited to dig in and talk about it.
Yes, and we also have our music lover, Sanaa Moore, with us today as well.
Yes, I actually am so happy about this ending. You know, it ended pretty well, but I think I might have a prediction that'll shock all of you guys. So I can't wait to talk about it.
So yes, on this episode, there was so much going on. We had attacks on the club. Julie's mother finally comes to visit, and Elliot finally makes a return to the stage. We also have some news and special segments later on in this episode, so definitely stick around for that. But before we dive into all of this, I have to know your thoughts on this finale. Allie, what did you think?
Yeah, I loved it. I feel like this episode kind of flowed the best out of all of the others. It was very easy to watch. It was entertaining. Most of our questions are finally answered. And even though it ended with, we don't exactly know what's going to happen next, but they allowed us to have some imagination. We can kind of assume what's going to happen, which I appreciated. So I felt like overall, it all kind of tied in well together. And yeah, I loved it. So many good musical moments and relationships developing again. So yeah, I loved it.
If it's one thing about this show, they definitely know how to bring some great musical numbers. Like when everything is going haywire, it's like, oh, this song is so beautiful. Like you just get distracted for a little bit. But Sanaa, what did you think about this finale?
Yeah, I thought, we finally got to hear the song The Eddy. So, you guys already know from News and Gossip when I explained in episode 7 how all of this has come about from a song. So now we finally get to hear the song. So that was pretty cool to witness all of that. And my girl, Julie, I love her now. It was a love-hate relationship, but that's my girl now.
Yes.
So shout out to you, Julie.
Yes.
A few characters that like we all started out hating, and now we're like, my heart, like I just want a happy ending for you. But one of those characters is definitely Julie. So let's talk about her for a little bit. In the beginning of the episode, we see that her mother is coming to Paris. Now we know from just previous episodes that their relationship is not the best. And we also know that her relationship with her stepfather is far from the best. And both of them are coming to visit. When they got off the plane and they all went to dinner, what did you guys think about this interaction, Allie?
Yeah, I was really eager to see what Julie's mom was going to be like. We met her for a brief moment when they were on the phone together, but I was excited to finally see her and see how her connection was with Julie. And I was not a huge fan. I think she seemed to have it all together. She seemed like a decent mother, but the fact that she basically just sent Julie away to live with her father, kind of out of like, oh, you're in trouble, like go stay with your dad. That whole thing really made me upset and sad for Elliot. And I love seeing Elliot stick up for Julie and stand up to the mom at the end, and he just left and Julie just followed. And I loved that because they're like really close now and have this really special bond. And I think the mom saw that at the end when they were performing together. So overall, the mom's fine. She can continue to come visit, but I want Julie to stay in
Paris. Yeah. Now, even though Julie and her mom kind of exchanged some words, and we got a little bit more in depth, just a little bit more in depth to their relationship. Julie and her stepfather maybe exchanged 1 or 2 words. Sanaa, how did you feel about their interaction and their weird tension?
Yeah, Julie's mom had a lot of nerve to me to not even thank Elliot, first of all, because he could have said, no, don't bring her here. But he did. He didn't do that. So I think she should have thanked him. And then even though it's not the ideal situation, it's what Julie liked. Julie didn't, want to live there with her dad. She found a home and she really likes it there. And she's liking her life, in Paris. And I didn't also like how she made it seem like it's jail for her staying with, okay, you did your time. What? Girl,
Yeah.
what are you trying to say? And the stepdaddy is already sus. So
Yeah.
he's really suspect. So I'm just like, I didn't like her approach to it all, as if like she came off to me like of a better than, like, oh, now you can come back this way, like, because this is the real life. Like Elliot's life is kind of like not as good as this one, so now you can appreciate it. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. And then like the whole thing with the brother's death, I didn't really like how all of that dynamic is. And I love how Julie was able to witness her father saying, hey,
yeah,
I love you, baby girl. Like, I love her. And you're not gonna, you think you running stuff, but you're not. Run that with your husband.
Yeah, honestly. And if I can be honest, I kind of wanted a little, like, I didn't want them to have like this explosion at the dinner table because, we need to have manners. But I thought that seeing all of them together in this dynamic, you have the stepdad, the mom, Elliot, Julie, finally at the same table. We've never seen them together. I kind of wanted them to dive into what happened. Like, I want them to just kind of lay it out on the table so that we can all know, because we get little hints of what happened, the dynamic, why she went away, but nobody really just blatantly says it. They just kind of like tiptoe around, and I felt like that would have been the perfect time to just kind of get it out on the table. But unfortunately, we didn't get that. But Sanaa, I love what you said, because Julie was really able to hear her father stand up for her, and not only hear her father stand up for her, but she also heard her father take accountability for what he's done. I mean, he said, "Hey, I was not the best man that I could have been during these tough times. I did not treat you the way that I should have. I did not step up when I should have, but I'm taking accountability for that now, and I'm being better today." And I thought that was really powerful, because we kind of just got to see his character arc unfold, and that was a nice conclusion for his like plot. I was like, yes, we are doing better, because when you know better, you do better. And then they leave the table, and Julie finally decides that it's about time for her to come home and live with her dad. And I think it was really heartwarming that she actually referred to her dad's place as home. Allie, how did you feel now that she finally is ready to go live with Elliot again?
Happy. The whole episode, I mean, with the few occasional parts we'll get into, but this episode just had me happy, because we finally are seeing not the better, but just a wholer side of Elliot. Like, he was so closed off and so to himself at the beginning, mysterious almost, but now we're seeing him be his true self. I think he's happier, and I feel like he is more in control than we've seen him before. And when he stuck up for Julie and talked about how much he loved her, and she finally saw that and realized it, I think it was just the moment we've all kind of been waiting for, and now she'll get to go live with him. And I was just so happy for the both of them.
Same. It definitely felt like they found their place. Before she decides to go with Elliot, she was living with Amira, and I think that we've all had mixed feelings about this character. So now, please tell me your thoughts about just her in general, the decisions that she made, things that she says out of her mouth. Like, how are you feeling her this episode?
Yeah, for me, I didn't like her approach within the first 10 minutes of this episode. I didn't like her snatching the phone, her barking and yelling at Julie because she's on the phone. She was not that loud. She made it seem like Julie was like screaming, like, ah, 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 like on the phone, and she wasn't doing all that. Then the part that sent me and took me to the moon is when she snatched the phone out of Julie's hand and said,
yes,
"Do you want to visit her?" No. Boom. And then like that was it was too much. I think she like don't feel salty. Don't feel salty, because she has somebody who really likes her, and that's her boo thing. Like, I understand your man passed away and everything like that, but you don't have to take that off on her. I didn't like that. I didn't
agree.
like that.
And sometimes I feel like we get mixed feelings, like mixed signal from Mira. Like, sometimes she's super nice to Julie and, is talking to her and is like, you can stay. This is your home as much as anybody else's. But then, like you said, Sanaa, she's snatching the phone. Where do you think, Allie, her intentions lie with all of this?
I definitely agree with you guys, but I do think deep down, Amira, we see her welcome Julie in, and she says it's your home. They've had really special moments together. So I think Amira was maybe just giving her a little bit of tough love. In the phone situation, I definitely thought it was a little much too, but also everyone parents differently, and she's had it rough. Her husband passed away. She's a mother of two. So she just has a lot going on. She said she was working all night. Maybe it's that time of month. I don't know. But I just think in that moment, she could have handled it a little better, but also she's been through a lot. So whatever. And I know at the end of the day, she loves Julie, and she's just trying to give her some parental guidance that I don't think she's had throughout most of the episodes. So I thought it was okay. I kind of like Amira because she's kind of feisty and upfront with Julie, but then she also can kind of have that sentimental and like motherly side to her as well.
Yeah, she did say, yeah, she did discipline her, and she does. Julie does respect her totally. Because let that be anybody else, Julie would have dropped that F-bomb.
Yeah,
and told them to F off. If it was anyone else.
It's just like Amira is so strict about everything else but this child going to school. Like nobody is telling her to go to school, and it's confusing. But whatever, like you can't be on the phone, but you can not go to school. But whatever, that's I'll die on that hilltop because it's not worth discussing it. But Allie did bring up something that was interesting, and that is that Amira continues to go through a lot, and something that we saw was her dynamic with her brother, which was a very interesting exchange, because at first, when we first were introduced to the brother, we was like, oh, he just wants to come help, like didn't think anything of it. And we didn't see him. I don't think we've really seen him since Amira's episode, which was like episode 3 or something like that. So now that we're seeing him and he's talking to Amira in the first encounter, he basically kind of seemed like he didn't know everything that was going on, but still wanted to give her a warning. Later down the line, we see that he's more involved and he let off. So now, what were your first feelings about the brother and his involvement with all of this?
Yeah, that threw me for an alley-oop. Yeah, alley-oop. Because for me, it's like, I love how she caught him in his lie, because I thought I was interpreting everything wrong, because at first when she asked, oh, do you know who Sami is? He's like, oh, no, I don't know who. And then later in the day, he says, oh, Sami is dangerous. I thought you didn't know him. So the brother, I wasn't feeling, but I'm glad Amira was able to pull that out of him and really show his true colors too, because that really stunned me. I was like, you really sat and lied in your sister's face, looked her in the eye, said you didn't know this man, and now all of a sudden you know him? Stop playing.
Exactly. It was really weird. Allie, do you think that he can still have good intentions, even though we know that he's mixed up in this dirty business? He did try to warn her, but it just, I don't know. How are you feeling about it?
I think he thinks he has good intentions, and I think he's trying to. I think he does care about Amira and the kids. But yeah, he had all this information from the very beginning, and if he truly cared about her and their safety, he would have handled that just completely differently. He would have been upfront with them the whole time, maybe even helping Elliot, because there's so many, like most people don't know what's going on. So the people who do know what's going on, you're either on the good side or the bad side. And I feel like the good side, like Elliot and Kat, are sticking together and helping each other. And then this, I don't know what her brother's name is, but he seems like he's on the bad side to me. I don't trust him. I think he's involved way deeper than he let on. And I'm so happy that Amira caught him in that lie and walked out of there. She could have easily have been like, okay, well, I know you care, but that's not enough at this point. This guy is beyond dangerous, and I was happy to see her I hope
exactly. And it was kind of like, where did you even come from? Like, we haven't seen you since the funeral. Now you want to come out bringing warnings, but claiming that you want to protect us. Like, where have you even been? Like, what have you even been doing? You could have just stayed where you was at, because all you're doing is bringing more drama. And as we're talking about drama, we have to get into the attacks on the club. So the first attack that takes place in this final episode is when Sim is just kind of like working the club, doing some inventory, setting up and things like that. And I think like 4 or 5 men come in and attack him. They don't damage him too much, but they do definitely shake some things up a little bit. Allie, how were you feeling when this happened?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I was so sad. I was almost crying. I love Sim, and they came at him hard and they had a gun to his head. And I honestly, for a moment, actually thought that they were going to kill him. We've seen them do it twice now. So I was freaking out and I was really, really scared for Sim. And then I was worried that they were going to trash the entire club. I was worried it was going to jeopardize the night that we were leading up to at the club. I was scared they weren't going to be able to perform. So yeah, I was definitely shooken up in that moment.
Yeah. So now, what were your thoughts? Did you think that he was going to die? Did you think he was going to make it out okay? Like, what did you think was going to happen?
I agree totally. Allie stole all the words from my mouth. Like, literally, I thought he was going to die. I thought they were going to smoke him.
Ugh.
Yeah, for sure. I thought so too. And I think we can definitely see in this series that, like, they don't hold back when it comes to the killing. Like, no one is really safe. So I was like, oh my goodness, our good boy Sim is about to be next. But I think one of the things that saved him, honestly, was when he shouted out that he had already emptied the cash register. Because, well, I don't know, because I don't really think they were there for the money. I think they were just there to prove a point. But I think for some reason it seemed like that kind of changed things when he said, I already emptied it. Like, there's nothing here. It kind of seemed like they started to kind of back off a little bit after that, but I don't know, because we do know that these people worked for Sami. He's really not doing this for the money. He's just doing it to force them into business. So I don't know, but I was definitely happy that Sim was able to make it out alive. Now, after this incident, did you guys think that it was best to maybe shut down the Eddy for a little bit? Like, what did you think should have been the next steps now that we've had this dangerous incident happen? Sanaa?
Well, they almost burnt it down, so it almost had to be closed down. I think they should just do like a renovation. Like, I think they should probably close it down for a little bit, because it's really hot right now. But then at the same time, part of me is like, keep it open. Don't let them see you back down. So I'm kind of in between with it.
Allie, were you happy that they kept it open that night?
I'm in the same boat as Sanaa. I think leaving it open is definitely a risk, and considering how many people were going to show up from that night at the club, I don't know if I would have kept it open, especially already knowing that it's probably Sami and that whole group, and if they're already coming in that morning of, they'll probably come back at night, which they did. So I don't know if it was the right choice. I would love to see Elliot just hire a bouncer. I know that wouldn't do much, but maybe just a little bit more security, like check people's IDs, like security. I don't know.
I don't know either. I agree.
Have
I was
the
like,
budget,
is there nothing?
You're right.
We can't really afford that right now. They're gonna have the bass player at the front door checking IDs and then go up on the stage right after that. So maybe that's not really in the budget right now. But since we're already talking about attacks and Sanaa had already hinted to this, let's just go ahead and jump into the Eddy almost burning down. So we'll kind of circle back to the heartwarming performance a little bit later, just kind of end on a positive note. But let's get into this attack. Now, I personally didn't think that Sami would do anything while, I guess, civilians or people who aren't involved with the club were in there. Like, I never thought there would be an attack when the club is full. But Allie, what did you think when you saw the flames going up in the club?
I agree. I thought it was going to be more of what we've seen in the past, like waiting until Elliot's in the alleyway or something a little more discreet. So as soon as they finished their song and we saw the flames and glass shatter from the ceiling, I was absolutely shocked and scared. I thought definitely some people were going to die. That looked really intense. Luckily, everyone was okay and it was just a scare, but the club was still ruined. And yeah, I think that was a huge turning point for the band and for everyone. This isn't just a joke. Like, this is serious, and these people are very, very bad.
Yeah. So now, what were your first thoughts when because I think we didn't really see the flames at first. We just heard the sound, I guess, of the whatever being brought into the club. How were you feeling when you heard all of this?
Well, you guys remember when the gasoline was being thrown on everything, right? And we didn't know why. Like, that was so premeditated. They did that, so then it's like, okay, the gasoline has soaked in the things. It takes one flame, everything goes into it. So for me, it's kind of like this was something premeditated. They knew they were going to do this. They knew they didn't care about the people in there. They wanted, they wanted to really make their statement of like, look, we are here. We're not playing. We need the money. I don't know if you know or whoever knows. You need to figure out who knows and get it back set. So that's their whole thing. You know, it just brought me back to that gasoline being spread all over, you know, the office.
Yeah. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if that younger guy that was working the bar went back into the office and poured gasoline. Because even though we saw Elliot mopping it up, I wouldn't be surprised if he went back and made that happen. Because I mean, we know who he works for. Like, he's going to get whatever needs to be done. But it was just like, with people here, like, could we do this another time? It was crazy to me. Like, I really didn't think that they were going to go to those extremes. But I mean, Amir's brother did say that he had a lot of dangerous plans in the works in order to get Elliot to kind of hand over the club. So I don't know, like, I knew it was something dangerous, but for some reason that just went over my head. But Elliot, of course, shaken up by everything, he goes to the police and they tell him that he needs to, you know, gather information from Sami. So Elliot goes to the building that it seems like Sami works in, and when he's met by the receptionist, she makes it seem like he's never worked there. Were you guys surprised when the receptionist was confused when Elliot wanted to see Sami? Sanaa, what did you think?
I think, okay, I have two theories. So my first theory is he really never worked there. Like he really never worked there. And he was really pretending to be someone. He never worked there. He probably went under a whole different name. Just everything was different. He was never there, so there's no trace. So that's my first theory. My second theory is the secretary is definitely playing down.
Yeah, I definitely got that feeling that she was in on everything that was going on, and she was like, I'm not going to let you know. I'm not playing into this. I know that you could possibly be working with the police, and you are not about to figure out what's going on here. But Allie, what were your thoughts when you didn't see him at the office building, but then Elliot is taken to this weird construction whatever site and finally sees him there? How were you feeling when they had that meetup in this weird location?
Yes. First of all, I was confused how they got there because we see him at the office talking to the receptionist. I like your first theory, Sanaa. I didn't think about that. But yeah, he probably didn't even work there. And if he did, use a different name. So I was just confused how he found him and how they got to the place where they met up. That whole meeting that they had just gave me chills. Like, this guy is a murderer. This guy is capable of doing some terrible, terrible things. And he's just like hugging him and shaking his hand and acting like they're going to be best friends. Like, it was just gross. It was uncomfortable.
Yeah, now I know me and Sanaa are always talking about Power, but Sanaa, please tell me if I'm on the right track. Now, in Power, anytime you see this type of setup where there's this like water that nobody really checks for, I automatically assume that somebody is going to die. Like, I knew that a body was about to be pushed into that, not river, but whatever flow of water. And I was like, this is
right.
It's
big
be,
body of water.
The shadow of the death. I don't know, but I mean, they made it out alive. Did you guys kind of feel like you were left hanging in a sense? Like, we knew that Elliot was working with the police, but we didn't really get anything out of him meeting up with Sami. How did you guys feel about this, Sanaa?
Yeah, meeting up with the police yet again. I'm still not a fan of her. She just, it's like, I think at this point, guys, I really think she's working with them. Like, I think she has to be working with them, because there's no way, like, this is your job as a police officer and you still haven't done anything. You threw me in, and like Elliot said, you threw me in jail the first second that you had. So I'm not a fan of her. She's really suspect too. She's on the list with Julie's stepdad at this point.
Yeah.
Because I'm not really feeling her. And it's like she's not doing her best to figure out any type of detail, anything. I think she's working with them.
That would be something interesting, because I mean, with all these cameras set up, she didn't bring up the attack on Sim. She didn't seem to know much about the fire until Elliot said something. And it's like, you were the one that was beasting for us to put these cameras in here, but you haven't really provided anything except for these still images. So now that might be a good theory. Allie, do you think that we kind of needed some more from this episode?
At first, I was happy he finally just gave in and went to the cops. Mm-hmm. And I thought that they were working together. I guess I believed her. I was like, okay, this is perfect. Like, they have this plan now. They're gonna capture Sami, put him behind bars. But then, so now when you said that, I could kind of see it. Now we're slowly finding out a lot of people work for Sami. Now Amira's brother is working for Sami. So it could be way bigger than we're thinking. And I could see the cop actually maybe being a part of it because she's the only one on this case. This is a huge case. This is a huge deal. And I don't understand why there's not more of a whole team and why she's just sending Elliot out alone to go find the evidence. That
with
doesn't
no
seem
protection.
safe.
Yeah.
And when he asks for a wire, she's like, oh no, they'll find it. Like if, he had a wire. She's really, it just isn't making sense to me. You wouldn't let him talk to his daughter. You constantly think like it's everybody but him. I'm not feeling her.
Very true. Well, aside from all of this mess, we do get a very heartwarming moment. I keep saying heartwarming, but that's truly what I felt when I was watching this. And it's when Elliot makes his return to the stage. I mean, we don't get any guarantees that he's going to continue to perform after this, but at least you got to see it one time, and my heart just melted, especially when Julie got up there and started singing with him. Allie, I know you had thoughts on this scene, so go ahead and give it to us.
Oh my goodness, I was crying. I was literally like crying watching it because it was beautiful. I loved how he kind of messed up in the beginning, and you could just tell that it was such a tense, awkward moment. Like I felt like I was sitting in the audience and I was like rooting for Elliot, and I was like, come on, like you got this. You're so talented. Play for us. And then seeing Julie step in and go help her dad, and then they sounded amazing. I just thought the whole scene was done so well, and it was my favorite part, I think, of the entire series. I just loved that.
Yeah. Now, as the music lover on the panel, Sanaa, I know you had thoughts on this scene. Tell us how you were feeling.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It brought me back to the moments. I went to a performing arts school, so I played violin. And for me, it was like, I understand the fear you get when you're about to play and, you have to, my worst fear was always like, I forgot the note, so I have to start over. Or, the worst thing is like you come in on the wrong beat or you forget your notes. I mean, it's a lot. So when he was like, okay, I'm going to start over, and it was kind of like a lot for him when he was messing up, I was like, but oh, Elliot. And then when Julie came in, it was like, I got you, I'll help you. I was like, girl, I love you now. Like, let's go get $4 wine glasses at Stella. Like, I love you.
Honestly, I was like, yes, make your papa feel comfortable. Like, I was like, this is so sweet. But since we're talking about music, I know that tonight you have some interesting news for us for this episode. So go ahead and give it to us.
Yes. So you guys know the music selection on this show was incredible. That's something that's undeniable about this series. So you guys can find it all at your fingertips on Spotify and on Apple Music.
Yes, I've already downloaded the album because I have loved this music. I've loved all of it from this show. So I'll be listening to it even, after the series is done. So definitely go ahead and give that a look. Well, let's segue into our wonderful special segment and our last one of the series. Allie, what do you have for us?
Okay, so for this special segment, since it's the finale, I kind of want to do something different, and I want us to think about all of the episodes we've seen and all of the character developments and the growth that we've seen. Two things. If you guys could be any of the characters, or if you could go grab $4 wine glasses with someone, who would you be friends with? Who do you relate to the most? Or who do you think had the best transformation from episode 1 to episode 8?
Transformation, I definitely think I guess I would say Elliot had a really big transformation. Either Elliot or Julie. Julie might still have some growing up to do because she's still not in school, so that's why she's like number 2. So I'm put Elliot at number 1. But I mean, from what we saw in the first episode, he's still stressed, so like he still has a lot to go in terms of like his club and everything else. But I mean, just he went from leaving his daughter at the club, not even figuring out how she went home, to sitting at the dinner table and fighting for her to stay in Paris. And I think that was just a beautiful arc to see. And I think he has so many things going on in the first episode that are now been resolved, that we've seen him kind of work through. We're seeing him perform again. That could open up the door to him being comfortable returning to his music career. It just seemed like he had a little, even though he has this open investigation and there's so much stress that comes with that, it seems like he had a little bit more control over what was going on in his life. And I loved that. So I definitely think he had a transformation. In terms of grabbing drinks with, I probably would get drinks with like the band, like all of the band, and Sim. Like I would just, sit there because they're pretty funny. Like the horn player, the bass player, like they're all pretty funny characters, and they added a lot of comic relief. And I think getting drinks with them would be so nice. Like they're pretty laid back about everything. I don't know, Julie. See, she might try to take it too far and start doing drugs, and that's not my cup of tea. So I don't really know if I want her.
That was just 2 times. That was just about 2 times.
2 times too many. So I don't know. Maybe she can come because I know Sim is her boo thing, but honestly, she can stay home.
Dang. Well, for me, I would say the biggest transformation award goes to Julie. Yes, because at first she was throwing the F-bomb left, right, up, down, circle it. It was just a lot. And I feel like now she finally understands more about her father, understanding more about her relationship with him, and more about herself. I think she learned even, the value of herself. Even though she's not in school just yet, I have hope for her. Like I said, I think she just needs an environment where she can flourish best in, that's best for her spirit, and how she can really take in everything when it gets tough for her. Because I feel like when things get tough for her, she likes to run, and then like that's when you get the drug calls and everything. But I think now she has a more holistic view on life and how to really handle things and what's important in life. And now she has Sim, who kind of balances her out. So I'm really, happy about that. And then if I could be a character, dang, I don't really know about being Elliot because that would stress me out. But I probably would choose Elliot to be. And yeah, I think I would choose Elliot because, he's grown. He's a great musician. I think he's really a pioneer, and he's not letting anything stop him, which I love. He's following his dreams and he's not stopping. Like, okay, y'all trying to shut me down. That was cute, but I'm about to come back. Y'all tried to burn it down. That's cute, but I'm coming back. I love how he perseveres through things and he figures out a way. But if I could grab wine with somebody, it would probably be Maya. So then maybe if she gets a little tipsy, she could start singing and we could sing together. And it'd be a great time. I'm nowhere near of a singer as her, but I can make a beat maybe, and then she could start singing. So I would love that.
I love it. I think I was also gonna say Maya for the grab a drink with. We could all do like a little jam session and hang out. She just seems really fun and happy, and it would be a good energy there, I think. If I had to be someone, I have absolutely no idea because they've all just gone through so much. But I think I would want to be Maya again. I don't know why. When she's singing, she just transforms into this like different being. And even if she's having like the worst day ever, she always just finds something to be happy about. And music always does that for her. So I really liked her character. And I'm with both of you guys on the transformation thing. I think Elliot and Julie definitely had the biggest changes. I think we definitely saw a very different Elliot in episode 8 than we did in episode 1. But same with Julie. Julie finally, I can tell she knows she's loved now. And she's just a different girl because of it. And I think that's so important. She has Sim and she's close with her dad. So overall, I'm happy with all of the character development here, and they're all great.
Yeah, I think we've grown to love some of these characters, and unfortunately, this is a limited series, so we're not really sure if we'll get a season 2, but season 1 was all we needed. Real quick, go around and definitely tell our viewers where they can find you on social media. Allie, let them know.
Yes, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Alexandra James.
Yes. And so now where can they find you?
Yes, you guys can find me on Instagram at IAM_SANA_ and on Twitter at IAM_Sana.
And you guys can find me on Instagram at Toxic Model or on Twitter at Tori with 2 E's. Like I say always, but I genuinely mean it. Unfortunately, this is our last show, but definitely click around the YouTube, click around our podcast, click around the website, find some articles, find some after shows, anything that you like that we have with AfterBuzz. I'm sure there's something that will tickle your fancy, and we would love to have you in the comments. We would love to have you watching with us. Until we meet again, we will buzz you guys later. Bye.
Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.